Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NDM Podcast, where we bring together notorious disruptive minds who represent the best business leaders within their respective industries. These guests will tell you about professional and personal insights and the latest industry trends. My name is Nicholas Falcone. I'll be one of your hosts today, and I'm the CEO of NDM Hospitality and Rental Resorts. At NDM Hospitality, we provide management services in the spaces of long-term rental homes, apartments, retail, entertainment, and food and beverage. And our fastest growing business, Rental Resorts, is providing branding, management, and consulting services on how to develop and bring to life residential resorts all around the world. I'm joined here by my co-host, my partner, and my brother, also the COO of our companies, Matthew Falcone. And we're excited to kick this off and have a great show. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. We have some amazing guests today, so I'd love to jump right into introductions. We are sitting here with Artie Zimmerman, the VP and partner at IOA, and Joe McDonald, who is the CEO of IFlow and serial entrepreneur. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. How you guys doing? Yes, sir. So we just want to get started, set the table. If you guys could just give us a little bit of a 60-second overview of what you guys do. Joe, we'll start with you.
So I invent products, solve problems, and create products around it or technologies, and I build companies around that. And then I ultimately wind up selling to companies.
Nice.
It's pretty much what I do.
And I know the big company you're doing right now is IFlow. Tell us, what is IFlow?
So IFlow is an automatic AC drain line and drain pan cleaning system that I created after I sold my last business and I was retired for 6 months. My wife wants to kill me, which is kind of funny, actually. My air conditioner, I moved into another house. It was 14,000 square feet with 7 air conditioners. And while we were getting ready to sell the company, we had changed one of the air conditioners at the direction of my contractor. It was a house was built in 2004. And we went up subsequently changing out the rest of them. And within 45 days, I had, within 45 days to the day of installing it, one by my office in my house, backed up. I called the contractor, said, hey, the HVAC contractor, you need to come and fix this. And literally, by the time he showed up, 3 or more were overflowing and we're back up, shutting off. And after going through that 6 times over every 45 days, I just, one time at 3 o'clock in the morning, it was overflowing out of my master bedroom. I decided to do something about it, and I invented the product the next morning. And here I am building a company around it again.
It's incredible. And so when you say you invent, are you actually going in, you're making these things?
I design, I sketch it out. I file the patents. I currently have 75 issued, published U.S. patents and international patents. They're utility patents, unlike the little design patents. Yeah. And I have another 49 patents just on IFlow on top of that applications rather, that are global patents. So,
awesome.
So that's what I do. So I now do IFlow for air conditioners. We make another one we just come out with a mini split. We're doing another one right now with septic products as well.
That's amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, knowing the product, I've learned a lot, from you in the conversations we've had. I had no clue what Zuglia was before the conversation.
Zuglia, that disgusting bacteria lives in everybody's air conditioning, including yours.
And I was just going to say that growing up in Florida, it's like, that's a problem, but hearing the science behind it and how you fix it, it's incredible. We'll talk more about it. I want to come over to Artie though, and Artie, if you could tell us a little bit about what you do.
I do something a little less exciting than inventing, but
completely different industry.
Polar opposite.
I do selling of commercial insurance for property and casualty insurance. I've been doing that for about 17 years now.
Mm-hmm.
My niche focus is commercial real estate.
Mm-hmm.
That's multiple silos. So that's your flex industrial office, your office, hotel, retail, ground up development, to your even condo associations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got into that probably if you speak to anybody in our industry, no one grows up getting into insurance. You fall into it. We graduated in that 08-09 time, which was the financial crisis. And my background, or what I wanted to get into, was finance and or real estate. That's what I was trying to strive to. And obviously both those pillars were demolished back then.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I had a friend who was at a commercial insurance company and told me that, it's a very recession resistant business with residuals and, so on. I was like, okay, I was a little skeptical, but I went for it anyways, just to, be able to have a career path.
Well, especially in the state of Florida, I feel like freaking insurance just keeps going up and up. So
yeah,
pretty good spot at the moment.
There's been a lot of, turmoil the last couple of years, and, not to get too much in the weeds of it, but luckily that's starting to have a positive turn for the insured, the consumer, where it's going in a much better direction. But I ended up being able to take that insurance and focus it on where I had a interest in the first place, which was real estate. So that ended up being my niche, and it ended up working out over time, to at least from my view, a success.
Yeah.
But yes, no, it's been very tumultuous the last like few years, particularly if you're in Florida. That's been a problem, but we can get into it at some point, but it's been much better when you look at trends moving forward.
Awesome.
We pretty much hated you insurance people for the past couple of years.
I'm the boogeyman.
We love Artie, but we hate all of the
If you don't have thick skin in it for what I do, you'll never survive.
No.
Sure.
It's funny, actually. Just a little icebreaker. The reason why we brought you here today is so you can sell him insurance. No, I'm kidding.
Insurance? I am looking for an insurance.
There you go. Yeah.
Whatever time, whatever it is.
So with that, Matt mentioned it. You guys are completely different industries, don't know each other. Sticking with the icebreaker for a second. I know we got the tequila flowing, so that's always a good one.
All right, cheers on it. Cheers on the tequila.
Cheers to you, gentlemen. Cheers already. So tell me, guys, what gets you guys motivated? What's your why? What wakes you up, Artie, to do what you do every day and be successful?
It's obvious. It's less the insurance part of it and more of the entrepreneurial part of it. So at IOA, where I've been for the last 11 years, it's not like I'm a 1099 producer. So I basically kind of operate my own business under the umbrella of IOA. And that excites me. I mean, my product is insurance, but the entrepreneurial part of it, of managing my team that helps us get to, from A to Z where we need to be. And, just that part of it motivates me the most, where I look at this as I'm not just selling insurance, but I'm growing my own business and operating it to a success, which is the most satisfying thing for myself.
That's beautiful, man. Good stuff.
With just sticking our insurance for a second, and obviously we all know the insurance markets in Florida right now. It's been kind of a complete disaster over the past couple of years. What are the trends that you're seeing? Do you see any type of light at the end of the tunnel? Currently in Florida, with insurance rates potentially coming down, more carriers coming back into the state. What are you seeing from a
very much so? So, just to give a very quick view of what happened, we went from maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago, the softest market, particularly if you focus Florida, because Florida has the most difficult insurance. We have, particularly South Florida, you have a huge amount of condensed high value real estate in a small area that no other state has the risk factor of, which is hurricanes, right? So our rates are going to naturally be higher than others, just between those two dynamics. What ended up happening, probably starting around 4 or 5 years ago, when we hit a dramatically hard market, and it unfortunately is a perfect storm because it hit around the pandemic time, which caused inflation and interest rates went up. So everything was going up. Was a lot of fraud was going on in the state of Florida, more specifically, with roof issues. Not to get too much in the weeds of it, but the state took about 2 years ago action finally to get that fraud out. That's had a significant impact positively on the insurance market, where a ton of carriers are finally coming back in.
Okay.
What we've seen over the last probably 12 to 24 months is it went to this unsustainable market of not only it was insurance a cost problem, getting insurance period was a problem. They were just either going bankrupt or leaving the state of Florida. Was a stabilization and a softening last year to a much softer market this year. This is, at least I can speak for property more specifically. This is across the board in all silos of property. Each one will have different dynamics. If you have like flex industrial, they have different tenants than if you have multifamily. The one that is still, it's getting better too, but hard. It's not happening as fast, or large development projects, because they're underwriting so those development projects takes like 3 years, whatever, maybe or more.
3 to 5 years.
The underwriter has the modeling has to underwrite multiple years of hurricane seasons.
Of course.
So that one's taking a little bit longer to catch up with the rest of the market. But from what I see, these carriers are well capitalized. They are not, they took advantage of a problem, a couple of years ago. It wasn't all just market factors. They definitely took advantage. and they have so much money between the terms that they remove before, the higher deductibles, the higher premiums, whatever it may be, that now they really can absorb bad storm if they have to, and they understand that. So now we have so much more competition coming in. It's really driving a competitive market space, which for the consumer is huge. So I see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're probably starting to see it this year, moving forward, unless there's, knock on wood, some dramatic storms, particularly to hit South Florida. It's going to keep moving forward in that direction.
Music to our ears. We like that.
Let's hope there's not a lot of hurricanes.
Yeah, right. The West Coast has not been. They've been the ones getting pummeled over the past couple of years. So that they've been the problem child over there.
Yeah.
Joe, what about you? Have you always been a creator, or what motivated you to do what you?
I've been creating stuff since I'm a little kid. So I love my last.
Consistent throughout.
It's consistent. Yeah, I invented my first product when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Actually, 16. I was making fake IDs. And I knew how to make them, and I knew how to actually determine whether they were real.
Your clients, and
I made a ton of them during high school. It was great. So I started business I did was a JMID chart when I was going into college. And then when I was second year of law school, I created a product that detected radiation.
Wow.
To give for microwave ovens, and launched a business by the time I was in third year law school.
What was the first patent? When did that happen?
The first patent I had was on my microwave oven radiation leakage detector. That was in 2000. No, I'm sorry. That was in 1989.
Wow.
That's 89. I got my first patent.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, I think it was before you guys were alive, isn't it?
I was 2 years old.
You think you saw Lowe's ass?
It's a thought in my mom about.
There you go. Not even probably. It was 2 years before I was thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just kind of kept taking it.
I kept doing that. Invented carbon monoxide detectors and started the industry in 1990. So I introduced them, wrote all the specs at UL 2034, and launched them to every retail in the U.S. and Canada.
Yep.
And built an entire business around that. And then I got into. So when I was actually marketing my products, it was starting to use emails and for campaigns and stuff. And I started doing email blasts, and I bought a list from somebody, and a guy kept hitting my credit card while I was traveling around, launching all my products and meeting with all the buyers and stuff. And I had created, as a result, I had all these charges on my credit card. So I created a digital wallet with a third-party authentication platform, which I ultimately wound up filing a patent on, raising money, and I licensed the patent to Visa International and became the Verified by Visa program.
I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
very cool.
So that was my second business. And then my third one was I made Rejuvenate. I started bringing products to, I pitched products on Home Shopping Network, and I made a chemical product that took spray paint off of a car without touching the finish.
Wow.
And it was called the Miracle Cleaning System, spraying guard Miracle Cleaning System. I took a red Z3 BMW and spray painted with black spray paint, and the host goes, "Joe, are you crazy?" He said, "Yeah, watch this. You think I'm crazy? Watch this." And I took it, and I sprayed it off, and I wiped it off. And I looked, no red paint, only the black came off. And
That's awesome.
I went up breaking all the records there, and then
Let's hear from our sponsor, Rental Resorts.
Today's traveler wants more than a hotel room. They want space, service, and experiences that feel effortless. Rental Resorts delivers all three, combining the comfort of a private home with the amenities of a world-class resort. It's a model that transforms second homes and residences into thriving hospitality assets. For owners and investors, rental provides turnkey management, global marketing, and a guest experience that builds loyalty and drives profitability. For destinations, it means longer stays, more spending, and guests who return year after year. From family reunions to luxury getaways, rental makes living life on vacation a reality. And that vision, backed by proven operations and powerful brand partnerships, is reshaping hospitality worldwide. Rental Resorts, where lifestyle meets performance.
and I sound like I'm really full of myself, so I got to pull this back. But so I went to QVC and I launched Rejuvenate there, and then I built that and sold that 3 years ago.
Very cool.
And we said at the point we sold 25 million bottles a year when I sold the company.
Wow. And now you're doing IFlow.
And I took off 7 months, started IFlow, Actually invented IFlow, and literally 11 months later, I started the company up
Is
again.
your wife still mad at you that you're back into business, or what?
Every day she reminds me, I can't believe you did this to me. I'm like, baby, if I sit home, I'm going to die. People that I talk to your dad about it. Like, people that retire. When you retire a year later, you're dead. I don't want to die.
Sure, you keep moving.
It's hard to hit a moving target. That's always kind of my philosophy.
That's been his spiel when people ask him. He got sick of saying, "I'm never going to retire." He's like, "Listen, no, it's gonna kill me if I do this."
Yeah,
that's an excuse now at this point.
I think balance is the big part that, that a lot of us, like heavy duty serial entrepreneurs or you guys will attest to this. We all need more balance in our lives.
Yeah,
But I love creating stuff. I love moving people. Yeah. I shoot all my own commercials. I write all the scripts. I do everything.
That's awesome.
I pitched on QVC from 2003 till 2013. I was on television over 2,000 times.
Wow.
I was number 1, number 2, or number 3 always.
That's awesome.
I outsold Trump when he was selling his books. I outsold Michael Jackson when he was doing his albums. I mean, they were doing 20,000 a minute, and I was doing 35,000.
That's some hard competition right there.
It was good. It was good.
So can you just I know Nick knows about how IFlow works. Can you give me a little bit of background on how the IFlow system works?
Yeah. So basically, people's air conditioners do 2 things, right? Everybody's AC does. Number 1, it cools the air, and secondly, like a glass sitting in a room, it has ice water, it starts to sweat. That's condensation. So the ACs, when they're cooling the air, the evaporator coil that's inside the air conditioning unit has a fan blowing across it, and that warm air makes that condensation stick. It pulls humidity out, it sticks to the fins, and then the fins invariably drip down into a tray, which is a drain pan, and it captures it, and it starts to build over there. Well, inside those, the little water molecules are microscopic biologicals like pollen, dust, pet din, or human din, or when you cough or you sneeze. So people think when you walk into somebody's home, you smell it's sick in there. You actually, the air conditioner actually has what you have.
Yeah.
And because sick building syndrome. So it starts to build up into that Zuglia bacteria, which is like thick, viscous material that actually goes down the drain line and clogs and causes your AC to shut down or overflow. So what IFlow does is, like I was making chemicals, we made bioenzymatic products. It actually is a dispensing system. It's a smart operated dispensing system. Connects to Wi-Fi, and it connects to an app and a telephone, and it actually geolocates you. So based upon your temperature, humidity, in South Florida, for instance, it will dispense a solution into the drain pan, which I figured out a way to do that, to get inside that. I filed patents on that. There's 11 patents on IFlow currently right now that's already issued, published. And dispense a solution that breaks up that bacteria, that Zuglia, and turns it back to water and flushes it out literally every 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
And we have 60,000 of them installed since we launched last year. And like the amount of clogs is like less than 0.00001%.
Yeah.
So it works. People absolutely love it.
Yeah. So you're an inventor. It's funny because, in our restaurants, right, we're always dealing with equipment breaking down and things like that. And I feel like after COVID, I want to get your take on this, but after COVID, we've seen that the quality of equipment, being manufactured that we're getting, whether it's assembly coolers or, grills, fryers, whatever it is, like the quality doesn't seem to be as high of a quality as it was before, like the pandemic. It seems like people are starting to cut corners and whatever else. Are you kind of seeing that, in this industry a little bit, or?
We don't see that with what we're doing. The air conditioners, I could tell you that the air conditioners, looking at cutting corners, the reason that my product exists right now is because prior to 2015, all of our evaporator coils had a copper tubing inside of it. It was copper piping.
Yeah.
Copper's antimicrobial because copper is by nature, right?
Yep.
So the bacteria would hit the copper and die. It would take a year to build up enough bacteria to have a problem. Well, to save money and to make something more cost efficient, as well as it's actually gets colder than copper, the aluminum, it doesn't have any antimicrobial properties. So that's why the bacteria is building up. So from a quality standpoint, everything's on par. But from a cost cutting issues, they created a market for me actually just to fill the void. Actually.
Yeah, and that's why I asked. Yeah, because it's like, that makes sense.
And that's why everybody that replaces their air conditioner, and air conditioner lasts 16 years, anybody that replaces their air conditioner, the new ones are the problematic ones. The ones that are built prior to 2015, you could still clean your lines every 6 months or 7 months or once or twice a year, which is when you get these contracts. But now, after you put these new ones in, the contracts you're getting with an HVAC company, they're kind of like null and void, really. I mean, unless you have an IFlow in there, they have to come back every 45 to 60 days, which they don't want to do because it costs an HVAC a lot of money.
Yeah, it costs money. Yeah, of course.
That's when HVAC companies love it too, which is great. They're all installing them like crazy now.
Okay, got it.
Incredible. And you're seeing the product take off obviously in Florida, but across the country at this point?
So we have, ironically enough, we always, when I did wrote the business plan, because I always kind of plan everything out, we figured Florida, Texas, the Panhandle, it's kind of like the whole southern part with high humidity, high temperature. And when I started, I ran TV commercials, and we still run them. Everybody probably sees them on television, IFlow.com. And we run television all over the country. We have Amazon orders and HomeDepot.com and our.com, IFlow.com and Lowe's.com. They're showing up everywhere in the country. I mean, places I never even thought. I mean, up in Maine, up Chicago, even in, California, up in the Northwest, and in Arizona, which is real arid climate. People are buying the product and installing it because they find it. They're telling us where the problem is. Yeah. So what I thought was 66 million air conditioners is now, it's over 110 million market size.
No, I could have used it for my air conditioning at my old house because it used to clog up like every month with like what's the good stuff? Zuglia. But it would clog up every month. I would have to have my guy come out with a shop vac and suck it all out.
I mean, actually, everyone I know has said that at some point.
Yeah.
So
everybody.
Yeah, you're definitely fixing a major.
Oh, you've probably had that too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, it's actually a big. Well, the way I'll deal with it right now. I want to point out it's a big insurance claim. So we're working with companies.
There you go.
We're working with Citizens actually on and a couple other insurance companies to actually buy them or put them in or lower the rates for people's homes because HVAC water damage is second leading cause of water damage outside of flooding.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So leaking pipe or or something, and then it's HVAC water damage. So we're actually working with the insurance companies and talking about silos and pillars and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's smart too because Florida has also a big problem with not the best HVAC companies in the sense of it can be very shady. And I remember, when I first bought my house and I was having a clogged line like that, it was such a simple fix, but they tried to charge me an arm and a leg to fix it. And I didn't know what the problem was until he told me. And then I was just adamant about not doing it. He showed me what he did. I'm like, you were going to charge me, extra that? I was like, that's crazy. So having something that's automatic like that seems like a real winner for a homeowner.
It is, and anybody can literally install it. I mean, it's like if you can hang a picture, you can install an iPhone literally. I mean, you peel off a plate, a bracket, you stick it on, you put the batteries in, you connect it to your iPhone, and you're done.
That's cool.
That's all you're doing. It does it. So it's set it and forget it kind of thing.
Very nice.
Well, if you're listening to this, you're crazy not to get one of these. You definitely don't want to go through what we've all experienced with replacing ACs.
If you live in Florida, get an iFlow.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. Artie, I want to come back to you for a little bit. You've been doing what you're doing now for about 15 years. What do you say would be the major changes? We talked a little bit about the upcoming industry trends, but where has the industry gone from like 15 years ago to today? And not just on the insurance side, but people and like, what do you see as differences in business today?
Sure. So on the underwriting side, from when I started to now, they are very model driven. And when I say model driven, it's almost now they're integrating a lot of AI into that. Mm-hmm. But prior to that, when you spoke to an underwriter, you could really kind of walk through a risk with them. And then, it was a lot of up to their discretion with how, to move forward or not, or you can kind of negotiate stronger. There's still negotiation there, but within a reason, because they are so stuck within this model. It's not the underwriter's fault. The carriers are forcing them to do it. They just have to maintain inside this model. So that was a big difference, which obviously is being integrated with AI. AI is on the underwriter side of it is really good because it can just aggregate an insane amount of data to really have a good understanding of what it's trying to insure. The other issue...
So, and just real quick on that, so you've seen AI really become very prevalent in your space?
It's starting to. Yeah. And a major reason on my side, is we're one of the oldest in regards to ages industries. So I think our average insurance is like, 55 and up. It's a very old... it's obviously not one of the more sexier industries. So getting youth in is not the easiest thing, especially like for Gen Z. A lot of them either want to go and, work for themselves, or they want to get into tech or something, something else. So labor is a massive problem, particularly, teams in order to help support staff, basically.
Yep.
What I'm seeing is I don't think, or at least not now, AI is going to overtake those jobs, But I think a lot of more the entry level or the more mundane type of part of the job. So like policy checking and, quote checking and all these other things that AI can do in 10 minutes extremely well is going to kind of start streamlining the labor side of what we do. It's been, there's huge investment into that because labor has been such a problem. Finding not only good, staff in general, but finding staff, especially the pandemic, it was impossible. And retaining them is just as hard because when you have that tight of a labor force, but you have a huge industry like insurance, they're all fighting for the same people.
Got it. So there's a lot of hopping around. So I see, just my speculation is that's where AI is going to come in. I also think that it's going to help in regards to just, again, speculation premiums because of attorneys. A big reason why premiums are so expensive is attorney fees. There were a ton of lawsuits and so on. That AI is going to take a lot of that aspect out, which is going to have an indirect connection with insurance premiums. So, right now it's a good tool. At least that's how I see it. It still has its problems where I don't totally trust it yet. It hallucinates or whatever they call it. Sometimes I find it more of a problem than a help, because if I can't trust it when it's looking over a quote and it starts to do its own thing and make up its own whatever, I can't sell that. So I have to double check its work still. So it's still helpful, but I see that they're going to fix that or any issues very fast. It's not going to be 10 years from now. You're talking about next year, 2 years from now, that step is going to be all
technology nowadays. It moves very, very quick. It's like we're talking about it in a different episode. It's every day. It seems like technology is changing and, being upgraded and whatever else. And it's just,
that's incredible.
It's a changing landscape every day.
Yeah. So one other quick follow-up on something you said, people aren't coming in as much, young people, retention's harder. As a leader, what are you doing to combat that?
So on not the younger side, more so we found a lot of the management staff, so like the account managers and so on, at least at Iowa, is very flexible at that. They did like working from home. So we were very flexible on that, but it did get abused. So we pivoted to a hybrid system where they come in like once or twice a week. Because one, we think it's just good for them in general to be around group thinking and interact with each other. But a lot of them, it's a very desk driven job. So a lot of them did like the flexibility of being able to work from home. That was a big thing. With Gen Z, like the younger generation, trying to get them involved, it's a little bit harder. They do want that. There's no doubt about it. But
the socialization.
Well, no, they want the work from home.
The work from home.
They still want the work from home like crazy. But when you're first starting, it works against you from my point of view. They need to be seeing people who are successful within that industry and partner with them or get mentors or whatever. They need to learn just the community that they're working in, and not only that, but even if you're not doing what I do in my company, but you're doing on the corporate side, you want to climb the ladder. You want to rub shoulders with the right people who could promote you well.
100%.
And there's a harder understanding on that. They still really want that. So in order to sell them on coming on over, we pitch a lot of like what brought me over initially, which is it's a residual business. If you're on the sales side, it's very recession resistant because it's something that you consumers are forced to purchase in a sense. It's not something that you don't purchase. And then we're a little bit more flexible, I think, on the idea of being at your desk. But when I have a younger guy come in and who's a producer, I make sure at least for the first year, it's like you come in every single day. They got it. It's better for them.
Yeah, that's something that we're very adamant about as well within our company is, it's all about building a culture. And, you know, with us specifically, we're in the hospitality industry, obviously. And, you know, in order, you can't serve guests from home. You know, you can't, you know, build relationships from home, so on and so forth. Obviously, there are certain industries, you know, where you are able to do that, whatever it is. I always make a joke, me personally, I can never fucking work from home. You know, I have 3 kids. My kids would be driving me absolutely fucking crazy, you know, the whole entire time. Same with my wife. Sorry, Ashley. Yeah, but yeah, we'll leave that part out. But yeah, no, it's definitely a different culture, you know. But I really do think it has to do with the overall industry and whatever else. Us personally, you know, we're the type of people that, you know, really believe in, you know, coming into the workplace, working alongside the, you know, the people that you're supposed to be working with on a daily basis. To your point, if you're a younger person and all you want to do is work from home, you're going to have a lot less of a chance in order to continue your growth and be able to learn things, you know, at the capacity that, you know, some people want to learn and want to be able to grow. So, you know, with us, we you know, really make sure that, you know, we get everyone into the office and that, you know, we're getting everyone collaborating, working together, so on and so forth from that standpoint.
We're debating on a previous episode, like, what are they, is it Gen Z? What do they call these young people nowadays? I thought it was something else.
I don't even know what the generation is called anymore. Yeah.
It's Gen ZQ. I don't.